Cricket Bus Centre Stage, Adam Collins, Michael Vaughan here at the Oval on a day where England batted for the entire day. They've made it to 313 for 8 at the close. A very healthy lead of 382 going into the fourth day. No excuse for Vaughanie. They've got to win this test match now.
Well, yeah, and they should. I mean, the pitch is still offering a little bit. There's spin there. There's something that Jack Leach has had with the bats. He's done okay with the ball, but this is his great chance. Real great chance to go on and get a fiver in the second innings, bowl England to victory in an Ashes test match, really build on his position in the side, establish himself in the side, go on and get a few more in New Zealand, South Africa, Sri Lanka. In 2.5 years' time, he'll be ripping Australia out in Australia as well. England have played great. You know, we do celebrate the fact that any team these days bats a full day in test match cricket because it just doesn't happen as often as it should. What did they do? They just showed discipline, they showed patience, they let the ball come, and then they exploited in the afternoon, tired Australian bowlers, the chance to score a little bit quicker, and that's what test match cricket's all about, is really establishing the foundation with simplicity. Joe Denley at the top of the order, Rory Burns to start with, just simple play. Rory makes a mistake, then Joe Denley digs in. Again, simplicity, keeping his hands closer to him. If you look at his dismissal throughout the series, it's when his hand's gone away from his body. You know, the drop last night gave him a chance. Yep. If it had been out last night, his plane ticket to New Zealand, it's ripped up. What have he done today? With the way that he's played and the discipline that he showed and the mentality and the hard work, he's got a ticket to New Zealand. He's on that plane. He's probably 2A. Yeah,
well, especially when you consider how they dealt with Cummins and Hazlewood. Class bowlers, but tired bowlers. They got them into their third and fourth and fifth spells. Payne kept throwing them the ball, but because they'd done so much work on Sunday at Manchester, on Thursday he had to bowl on Friday morning as well. That was always the key. It was never about England's capacity to make runs. It was about their patience, and they showed it today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've just played the test match way. It's been a good test match for England because, you know, day one, the pitch did a little bit, 294. It was around par, probably just below. At 173, they should have got 400, and that's one thing that this test match team for England has to do, is really train the brains over the course of the next 2 or 3 years before they get to Australia next time, in making sure their brains are trained to get big scores. The one thing I always say in test match cricket is, because they play so many different formats in this era, when you get into a position of form like Joe Denley found today, Josh Buttler's found over the course of the last 2 weeks, what's important for a player is to go and write things down. Go and just write things down. What has Josh Buttler done in the last 2 weeks that he wasn't doing in the first 3 games? What's Joe Denley done? Write it down technically, mentally, emotionally. Just trigger it down in a book. England have found a few things this week. They've found a couple of players that will definitely be on the plane to New Zealand. Joe Denley for one. They found an opening partnership. Whether it's the long term, not at this minute you can say that, but Burns and Denley certainly will be the opening partners. Joe Root for me has to move to number 4, then Ben Stokes, then you're looking at someone like Ollie Pope. They need another batsman at number 6, and then they're going to have a tricky position to make, because they're going to have to start making a decision on Johnny Bairstow, Josh Buttler or Ben Foakes. Who's going to be that wicket-keeper batsman at number 7? Is Buttler good enough with the gloves to be a test match wicket-keeper? They'll have to decide that. Johnny Bairstow struggled with the bat. Is his keeping good enough? You question that over the last few games. Ben Foakes is a test match wicket-keeper batsman, so England will have a decision to make on that. But what they've done this week, he just found a few things. Sam Curran, you know, he's just a fighter. You know he's going to create a little bit of impact. Jofra Archer, a revelation. I'm pretty sure over the next few years he's just going to continue to cause a little bit of chaos. But the series is too, well, I can't see how Australia, well, they've got Steve Smith, so anything's possible. We said that aheadly. We'll write Australia off, and then Smith will get 225, not be the greatest innings of all time, surpassing Ben Stokes, no doubt. It's been one of those summers, but you know, England should win this game, and I just hope that they don't just kind of look at this series and go, oh yeah, if and but and maybe. Let's just remodel this test team.
In terms of the visitors, Australia, they came here this week, Vaughanie, saying this was their grand final. Squaring the series and retaining the urn was one thing, but they desperately wanted to win here for the first time since 2001. Did they look a fraction tired today? I mean, Hazlewood and Cummins weren't at necessarily their most dynamic best. Siddle bowled a really good spell after tea and finally got some reward, despite the fact that he was ropey earlier than that. Mitchell Marsh got a wicket. Nathan Lyon was influential, but collectively, did they look like they were at their best?
No, they've been miles short of the best. I mean, you can look at every facet of what Australia has decided to do this week. The team, playing Siddle for Stark, when you've got Mitchell Marsh who's going to do your donkey overs, you know, the kind of holding role. You didn't need Peter Siddle as well. You needed left arm. You needed someone with a bit of difference. That's what Stark offered. Did he bowl so badly at Old Trafford? No, he was that point of difference. He's not a bowler that you turn to and you think he's going to bowl with consistency. He's a bowler that you turn to that can create a bit of havoc, and he did that at Old Trafford. Key wicket of Stokes, key wicket of Bairstow. So they got selection wrong. they got the decision at the toss wrong. They fielded like an Australian side has fielded I've never seen. You know, they fielded fumble in the outfield, drop chances. Australia pride themselves on fielding. They don't drop balls. They're always busy in the outfield. Well, they've just looked a tired unit this week. The review process, Tim Payne. Again, 2 today he's got wrong. It's just been one of those weeks. Tim's looked a little bit lethargic and tired behind the stumps. His keeping has usually been immaculate today, and over the course of this test match, it's just not been at his best. Australia have had one of those weeks where, and I said before the game, the only way England win this week if Australia partied too hard at Old Trafford. It looks to me like Australia partied too hard at Old Trafford. They're right here a bit tired. England have been very good because they got the opportunity to bat first. England are a better team when they get the chance to bat first, and Australia, with the history of this venue, with the history of this modern England team, knowing that any team that goes and gets 250 in the first innings, this England team generally can't cope with that kind, and it doesn't need to be 350, 400. And that's where Australia made a huge amount of mistakes this week, just all in the decision-making process.
In closing, Vaughnie, we've talked about it being a weird old summer, so we don't want to rule anything out tomorrow. But one thing I did note today before the end of play, the entire Oval crowd chanting, "Stand up if you love Jack Leach." Can you imagine a month ago, even 3 weeks ago, all of the Oval standing up, adoring this unorthodox cricketer who is out there doing his best, and he's almost enabling these great moments. But Jack Leach, the cult hero, the find of the summer.
Oh, David Steele back in the day, he got Sports Personality of the Year for kind of hanging in there and being a similar kind of character. He got a few runs as well, but I just hope Jack Leach gets a few wickets.
Yeah.
You know, I really do hope he finishes what's been an amazing summer for him. With a fifer, England win the test match, and you know, we can see Jack Leach for what he's in the team for. Jack Leach is in the team to get wickets and bowl quality left arm spin. We've seen him do it for Somerset over many years. He's got a pitch now that will offer a bit of spin. That ball that got Ben Stokes was an absolute beauty from Nathan Lyon. If he's not sat on that balcony going, come on, this is my time. Tough used to get a 6 for here against the Aussies. Jack Leach surely can get a 5 or 6 for to winning England and Ashes test. But I hope so, because he just looks the kind of character that you want in a team. He just looks like he's made of the right stuff. I just hope he's got the right amount of quality to be good enough to get left arm, you know, his left arm spinner working at this level, and he's got a great chance here of finishing well, it's been a great summer for cricket.
Not before time. Crick Buzz Centre Stage, Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan. Almost certainly this test match will finish tomorrow when England get an opportunity. Australia need 2 more wickets. They'll be chasing in excess of 400. The only question left, what does Stephen Smith do? We'll find out tomorrow.
Surely not.